Hey gang, Lex here, and I wanted to give you another production update from the world of Kid Beowulf. This is for lettering, so I wanted to walk you through some of the lettering that I do for the new Kid Beowulf short story. It's called Boody's Bounty. Hopefully you've been reading it. Every Saturday a new episode drops at kidbeowulf.com. If you're a patron, you know this and you've been reading it, and I hope you've been enjoying it. If you're not a patron, well, consider joining up at patreon.com kidbeowulf. And becoming a patron gives you all sorts of cool rewards, one of which being an ability to read the new short story, Boody's Bounty, every Saturday. New pages go up at kidbeowulf.com. It's a fun story. I've really enjoyed putting it together, and I'm enjoying sharing it with everybody every week. And I thought for those of you who are process junkies, who perhaps are comic book creators yourself, that I could walk you through some of the techniques that I use when lettering. So that's what this video is going to be. It's just going to be kind of a quick look at how I letter my comics. Um, this is a screen recording that I did some time ago when I was doing the lettering for the story. And a couple of things to bear in mind. I'm using a program called Photoshop CS4. Some cartoonists will actually letter their comics right on the page. Others do it digitally, like I do, and they use a variety of programs. Some use Procreate, some use Clip Studio Paint, some use InDesign, some use Illustrator. I have found that lettering in Photoshop, that's kind of how I learned, and that's what I stick with, and it is something I'm familiar with. So that's my preferred program. I use Photoshop CS4. It's an older version of Photoshop, but as I said, I'm used to it, and I will continue to use it until it doesn't work anymore. So, lucky for me, my computer can use that old version of Photoshop, and it works great for me. A couple of other things. When I letter, I actually use balloons that I have pre-made. I actually drew a series of balloons and word balloon tails. And I drew them in my sketchbook and I scanned them into the computer. And so those kind of live as templates I always kind of go back to and use when I'm lettering the comic. So when you see a balloon pop into this video, that is me copying that balloon from my pre-made templates and pasting it into the Photoshop document. That also goes for the word balloon tails and any other effects that I bring into the Photoshop document. I'm sort of just layering onto the page of art. So that's what we're looking at here. We've got page 65 that I'm working on. This is towards the end of the story. It's not too many spoilers, I don't think, but sort of just to run you through the process for how I letter the comics. So another thing to bear in mind, the font that I'm using is a font that I created out of my handwriting. A few years ago, I reached out to a fontographer and did a series of basically, again, on a regular piece of paper, I just lettered the alphabet A through Z a few times, different um, things like commas and punctuation marks and other typographical notations, and I sent it to this guy, and he did a great job creating what we call Lex font. So that's actually what my handwriting looks like, and that's what I'm lettering with. I letter using the type tool in Photoshop, and I basically just take my script that I have written and I retype that text um, into Photoshop. Some people will just copy and paste because I actually do have the text written in a script in Word. But I find that for me, the lettering, a lot of it is actually refining and editing as I go. So, oftentimes I tend to overwrite in my actual script. And when I get to this stage, the final stage really of making comics, which is all about lettering, I'm always fine tuning and editing along the way. So here we see that I've dropped in a word balloon, and I've written in the text for this character named Spume, where he says, "Oh, I thought you traded slaving for bounty hunting." Now you'll notice also that I have played around with the font. All the letters when I do my font are all caps. And so that's also an important component to lettering comics. There are some comics that use lowercase. I'm a traditionalist. I like all caps, and that's what I like to. That's what looks best for me and for my comics. Here we go. We're doing another lettering here. It's where this character Quintus is saying, like you say, old habits. And you'll notice that the I, I'm changing out those I's because in the Lex font, when I do all caps, those come in as capital I's. But the only time you use a capital I in comics is if it's for the personal pronoun. For instance, I said this, I'm doing that. So that's what we're adjusting here. And the other thing I'm kind of fighting with at this moment is the spacing of the text in the balloon. I'm just trying to make it look pleasing to the eye. A lot of comics lettering is that. It's sort of that aesthetic of making it look pleasing to the reader. In this instance, I feel like you say, old habits is sort of stacked. It's sort of just stacked in this kind of rectangular shape, even though it's living in a oval balloon, and it doesn't. I'm not 100% on that, so we'll probably come back to that, and I'll probably tweak it. For now, I'm going to adjust the other word balloon above the other character because I feel like that's a little too close to his head. So I'm using the transform tool, and I'm making that oval a little longer, and I'm adjusting the text within the word balloon. So a lot of, when I letter, it's a lot of these considerations. It's sort of like, is there enough space in the word balloon for the text to read legibly? You always want there to be enough air in your word balloons, and also it's sort of, how does that balloon look on the page? You don't want it too cramped. You don't want it, right on top of the character. You want there to be enough space so it looks pleasant and it reads nicely, and that there's no confusion to the reader about what they are reading from panel to panel and word balloon to word balloon. So for the time being, I think that's probably the best I can do for that balloon. And I'm going to take another look at that first balloon I plopped in. And as you can see, I'm still trying to find the best shape for that balloon. And ultimately, I think what I've decided is that, I'm just going to make these into two balloons. So, for instance, and the reason I'm doing that is because in this text where the character is saying, like you say, ... old habits. Well, that ... is sort of a break. It's a pause in his speech. So what I can do is actually just make these two different balloons, and that might actually solve the aesthetic problem I'm having with the words stacking nicely in my oval balloon. So if you run into that problem with your own comics where you have like the words are not really living pleasantly in the word balloon, well, consider breaking up the balloon into multiple balloons. If you have a comma, if there's a natural break in your character's speech, well, that can give you an opportunity to actually add two balloons. And it's a neat little trick. I like to use it every now and then if I'm sort of running into this problem of the words kind of fighting graphically in the word balloon. So that's what I've done here. We're going to make this two balloons, two word balloons. So the characters, there's a natural break in his speech pattern when he's talking to this guy. He's saying, like you say, old habits. The other thing I'm doing here is I'm actually beefing up the outline of those balloons. I'm adding an extra stroke around the black border of the oval because I want the text, the word balloon to look a little thicker to match the artwork around it. So another tip and trick to consider if you're lettering in Photoshop is to thicken the outline around the balloon. Finally, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop in the balloon tails. Again, these are pre-made, and also all I do is I copy it from my template and I drop it into the Word document, and I use the free transform tool to make that word balloon the appropriate size, and then I merge once I've got that right size. underneath the balloon. I merge those two layers together and then just paint the text, or I'm sorry, I just paint that word balloon border, and I've got my word balloon. So there you go. It's just there's a quick glimpse into how I do some lettering. Um, I know that was really kind of a crash course, and there's a lot to lettering. And if you want to learn some more, I recommend you check out this great book by Nate Picos. He's the letterer behind Blambot. He's got a lot of great tips and tricks in this book. And if you want to see more of these videos, I'm happy to go more in depth into lettering. I can go a little bit slower and take you through the process. But I thought I'd just, for now, share with you some of the techniques I use when lettering comics. Check out more at Beowulf.com. If you'd like to read the story, become a patron at patreon.com/KidBeowulf. And I hope you enjoyed this little crash course in lettering